It's not for love, for malicious grieving. It's for that dreamer in that class that's underachieving. Welcome to the Detail Athlete. This is your host, Daniel Carr, and today we have another special guest in the building. He's a new face to the Valley area, but he's going to be a familiar face to the Valley area. Today we have Baltimore's own Earl Chapman Jr. What's up, man? How you doing?
What's going on, man? Just enjoying the day off.
That's absolutely. I need to add, he's the head football coach here at Midland Valley High School. We'll definitely tap into that a little bit later. Baltimore, man.
Yeah.
Home, right?
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about Baltimore. What was it like being born and raised in Baltimore? We have our own little perception of Baltimore down here, down south, and what we hear about it. But you coming from Baltimore, talk to us a little bit about that.
Biggest thing I can say is it'll test you. It's a place that'll test you.
Absolutely.
And it's a place where you got to grow up fast.
You
got to grow up fast. Just because of all the things that go on in the city, you always have to, be aware of your surroundings from the time when you're very young. But at the same time, it's a place where, it's a lot of hard-working people, but there's also a lot of foolishness and drama going on too. So for me, I kind of just stayed focused on the sports, hung out with my friends and all that stuff, but kind of stayed out of all the mess.
Right.
Just because I had things that I wanted to get done in life, and I knew I couldn't get involved in some of that stuff that was going on.
Absolutely. Only child? You got brothers, sisters?
I got two older sisters. The oldest one is actually my half sister.
Okay.
And then the next oldest one actually lives down here now. Just moved down here about 2 months ago.
Right.
But yeah, so I'm the youngest, only boy. But yeah, two older sisters.
Yeah. So like having two moms, three moms in the house.
Definitely. But yeah, we got a little bit of an age gap in between us. Like my middle sister is 5, almost 6 years older than me.
Okay.
So, they were kind of doing their own thing, and I was kind of doing my own thing.
Yeah, I definitely relate. Not to necessarily doing your own thing, but my brother's age gap. I'm 24, the oldest. I found out last week he's like 41. Like I just found out he's 41. You know what I mean? So
big age gaps.
Man. Multi-sport athlete. What sports did you tap into? Obviously, you in Baltimore, staying out the way, staying out the crowd. Obviously hang out, but staying out the way. But you talked about sports.
Yeah,
being your main focus. So what sports did you play?
And I played the main three. So really football, basketball, baseball.
Yeah.
But the main three that I played, I did a couple other things when I was younger, like wrestling and stuff like that. Okay. But the real focus, pretty much all through high school, I played all three.
Right.
With football, basketball, and baseball.
Okay. So basketball, let's talk a little bit about that, because that's one of my loves. Yeah. You come in, you on the weekend with us sometimes. I'm like, hold on, Chapman can hoop.
A little bit, man.
Was that ever? I know Maryland and Baltimore, that's another one of those things that they do when you start getting toward that DMV area. They hoop.
Yeah, basketball is big, man.
Was that one of the things that you wanted to do? Before football?
Yeah, like basketball was definitely the first love. But just figured out real early. And then we try to get a lot of these kids to understand. I realized everybody else was 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", and I'm sitting here at 5'7", 5'8", 5'9", and the writing was on the wall.
Absolutely.
So I loved it. I played it all the way through. Even had a chance to play some small college basketball, but football. By the time I probably got to my sophomore year of high school, I kind of knew all right, football is probably gonna be the one I end up playing just based off of my size and where things were going.
Yeah, but don't get it twisted. I'm gonna give you some props. You can hoop. You ain't me yet, but
the problem is I can't. And I was it's ironic. I was talking to somebody about this last week after we played. I can't move the way the body don't move the way you want it to or the way it used to.
Yeah,
I can't, and not as quick as I can't get off the floor. It just. You can still do a little bit, but the body don't let you. Let you. I see why in the NBA, you see guys start retiring at 35, 30. Because the body at a certain point, man, your body just, you can't do all the stuff that you used to be able to do.
Absolutely.
But yeah, definitely love playing basketball. You know, played on some good teams, played against some good people, especially in Baltimore. Played against Carmelo Anthony growing up, Rudy Gay, a couple other guys that played in the league. But definitely enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you ever dibble and dabble in the boxing a little bit?
I only did boxing as like a training for football.
Okay.
When I got to college, our strength and conditioning coach, that was one of the things he suggested that we do to, like, you know, work on our cardio and stuff like that. So I never really did anything serious with boxing by any means, but more of a just a get in shape part of a training for football.
So you're absolutely into boxing though, like you watch the fights. So obviously you know Gervonta Davis.
Got no tank.
Man. That's why I asked. Did you ever dibble into boxing? Because I'm sure again, that DMV area.
You get some boxers coming out of there too, but Tank has probably been, you know, this little run that he's on right now has probably been the best run that we probably had, you know, out of Baltimore, of anybody in boxing for sure. Especially with that, you know, his fight a couple weeks ago.
So he's signing him up and knocking him down.
And a boy special, but he was always a fighter. He just wasn't always getting paid for it.
Absolutely. So you kind of knew him before.
You know about
him.
Because he's younger, a lot younger than I. Well, probably like 12 years younger than I am. So he was behind me, but you know his name was spreading around pretty early in the game because he was, you know, he's still a young guy now, but when he first started fighting, everybody was like, "Hey, this kid gonna be the next thing out of Baltimore to make it big." So it's definitely good to see.
Absolutely. Coach Chapman, the athlete. You go to college. Right. And what college did you end up going to?
I went to Bridgewater College, small college in Virginia, not too far from James Madison University. Man, when I finished, when I was in high school. Obviously, I played quarterback in high school. I played quarterback pretty much my whole life until I got to college. And then my senior year, I was actually committed to the University of Richmond. And about a week before signing day, they called me and said they were going to offer my scholarship to somebody else. So that kind of left me scrambling. You know, it's end of January, beginning of February, and I'm scrambling to try to basically find a place to go. So I went back and forth between prep school and JUCOs and all that kind of stuff, but academically I didn't need any of that. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I just kind of last minute type thing, you know, somebody was like, "Hey, where you going?" And I'm like, "Man, well, this what happened with Richmond." And it's like, "Well, I'm gonna reach out to some people," and then they ended up reaching out to me. Like I said, small school, but at the time, they had just played for the national championship in Division III football. So, and my mindset was, all right, well, if I'm gonna go small college, I'm gonna at least go somewhere where you know they winning, and it's gonna be worth going. So, ended up down there. They moved me to DB, and that was pretty much it. Played corner all 4 years in college.
I want to take a step back though, because you said the thing that popped out to me was that you said your grades wasn't a problem. But you're in the inner city.
Man, my grades weren't a problem, man. That's one thing that, you know, my mom was big on was the grades. She wasn't gonna let me, you know, do nothing if the grades weren't right. So you know, I always took care of that. We high school ain't hard if you just do it. You know, if you just do it. So I did my work. That's pretty much what it was. I didn't do nothing special, but I did my work. So I didn't have to, you know, I wasn't failing no classes or nothing like that. So the grades was never an issue. But that's just something that my mom, she wasn't gonna play that. So I already knew I had to have that right.
Absolutely. And I just think that's super dope that somebody coming from the inner city, you know, like, and it's not to put a knock on inner city because but it's just the reality. The fact is most kids out in inner city don't get a lot of opportunity because it comes down to that grade. And at that point they start to say, you know what, well, let me just dabble in the street.
And,
You know what I'm saying? Something that's easy.
and that's a slippery slope, you know.
Exactly, and I think that's that's a powerful thing as we get into coaching and teaching with kids. But we'll get into that. But that's a powerful thing, and I'm gonna tip my hat to you for being able to do that.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? That's
you know, it was tough at times because
absolutely.
You know, you got a lot of people around you. Even some of my friends, you know, they basically did whatever they wanted to do. Parents didn't really care about their grades and what they was doing with the grades. But at the end of the day, like I said, it wasn't like it was hard. It was just a matter of just doing it, getting it done. So I always made sure I got it done, so I ain't had to worry about hearing that from my mom. And then,
absolutely.
You know, as long as the grades was right, I could pretty much do whatever else I wanted to do.
Right.
She wasn't gonna bother me too much.
Right. What degree did you take after in college?
I got my degree in exercise science.
Okay.
So I actually started as a computer science major, and I was gonna go into working with computers and building computers and all that kind of stuff. And then my sophomore year is when I realized I wanted to get into coaching.
Okay.
And so when I realized I wanted to get into coaching, I don't need to be in no computer science.
That's early though.
Yeah.
That's early.
And so I just went ahead and changed my major to exercise science, so that way I could go really any direction. Yeah. From that point on, personal training, end up being a PE teacher, whatever I wanted to do, I could kind of leave my options open with anything in athletics. And
I'm saying that's early. What was it about your sophomore year that said, I'm gonna be a coach? What was it that clicked to you?
One day sitting in a position meeting. We in a position meeting, DB meeting, watching film. And we had, been watching film my whole freshman year. And then one day we just sitting in there watching film as a sophomore. And we going over some plays or whatever. And it was like, literally like a light bulb went off. Yeah. All of a sudden, everything up there made sense. Yeah. Like before, I just knew what I had to do. I didn't know what the safeties was doing. I was just trying to learn what I had to learn, especially early on. Right. But one day I'm just sitting there, I'm like, oh, all right, well, if he go. And then it was literally like a light bulb. Absolutely. Moment. I was like, and they pay people to do this? So you get, obviously the goal is to play as long as you can play. Yeah, absolutely. But at a certain point, it's like, all right, well, what's next? And if people gonna let me do football, which to me, I was always a football guy. Yeah, yeah. Even though I love basketball, but I was that guy on Rivals, knew who the top 20, 30 players in the country were, all the best high schools in the nation, all that kind of stuff. Right. So it just kind of clicked, and that right then, like literally the next week, I went and changed my major. Oh, okay. And the rest is just finish my career and learn as much about football as I could to set myself up for when I was done. Absolutely. And you talked about you really being a quarterback in high school. Yeah. Obviously, this is where me and you can connect. Yeah. Been a quarterback 4 years in high school, and that's really all you did. Yeah. And then now you're getting a scholarship to a school, and they're saying, you know what, we want to put you on the defensive side of the ball. What was that initially? What was your thought, and what was that transition like? Well, first I was aware that I was gonna get moved. Okay. No matter where I went, like because again, being 5'9", 5'10", playing quarterback, in that time. Especially in that time, you're talking almost 20 years ago. Yeah. So at that time, if you were 6'2", 6'3", and that ideal, and also back then people weren't running spread offense, right? You didn't have a whole lot of the RPOs and all that stuff. Like zone read, I would have been great at the zone read, I think, in my opinion. But that wasn't what we was doing back then. Right, there was a lot of pro formations, I formations, still some of that stuff. I mean, you get into some spread type stuff, but people was only doing a little bit of that. Right. It wasn't the basis of your offense. Right. So I was already aware that I was going to get moved either to receiver or DB. Almost everybody that was recruiting me throughout the whole process, it was either receiver or DB. Okay. So I had already wrapped my mind around that. And then the biggest thing for me when I got there was I want to play. Yeah, I want to get on the field. I didn't come here to watch other people play. Absolutely. So, and there was some guys, and I remember one guy came in with me. He was an all-state receiver in Virginia. Okay. And they moved him to safety. And he spent, I remember just like the first month and a half complaining about not playing receiver, even though he was an all-state receiver in high school. Right. And I wasn't gonna do that. If I'm gonna be a corner, I'm gonna get as good at corner as I can, as fast as I can.
Absolutely.
Because I'm trying to get on the field.
Absolutely.
And so, I put my time in, put my work in, did extra, always did extra. Because again, my goal was I'm not gonna be 3-4 hours away from home and be sitting on somebody's bench or not be on the travel list and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna practice all week and then sit home while they get on, going on the road and traveling and playing games.
Right,
so I got in the lab as fast as I could and learned everything I could and just went to work and went tunnel vision on just becoming the best corner that I could be. I left that quarterback stuff in the past and just went straight, full speed ahead.
And I think that's super, super, super dope too. It just, man, right now kids they get so hurt. They have a lot of that attitude of which, like you said, all-state receiver. I've been doing this all my life, and now you want to move me to somewhere else that I don't play. And now it's not necessarily what you don't play, but they see that you actually might be better at this, and you can use those same skills at this position because it all correlates.
Yeah.
I know you got one, we ain't gonna throw the names out right now, but you got one who's playing a position, went to a camp, and now he might be playing a whole different totally position.
Yeah.
So I hope that his mindset, if he watches this and when he watches it and hears it, and obviously I know that you're preaching it to him, look, man,
opportunity.
And we're going to get into that. We're going to get into opportunity. There was a quote that you gave me that you don't know what you gave me at gym, but we're going to get into that. But I hope he takes that opportunity, and I hope that he uses it. You know what I mean? Because it might actually do what he
it might
wanted
turn
to do
into
for
something big for him.
Right.
It really could.
And I know you're harping on that, but any kid out there that's listening to this, or any adult, it ain't got to be sports and anything. Be on your job, they want you to do one thing, and then they say, okay, well, now I want you to do this. Do it.
Be open to it, because you never know where it might end up going.
Right. Because it scared me. Whenever them colleges were rolling in and they were like, yeah, great quarterback, but you got a gift athletically and with the ball in your hand, we put you out receiver, or we could put you on the other side because you're not scared. And it's just like, whoa, like it's not that I've never done it. It's just, it's been so long. And it was like, I don't know. And it never turned me away from nobody, but it was a scary within me, the fight within me. It was a scary thing for me. And I think that's good that now they have somebody especially in this program that can tell them, hey, look.
Sometimes you gotta, that's the best thing that happens to some guys is changing positions.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you're not in that right position, or you grow out of a position.
Right.
You might have played it when you were young, but you get to high school and the game changes.
Absolutely.
You just got to be willing to go where you need it, or where the coaches think it's going to be most beneficial for the team and for you.
Right.
So, be open to it, because opportunity comes when you least expect it.
Absolutely. So we're gonna take a left. All right. You get done playing. Right. Now you're into coaching. Now you just said that your sophomore year that you already knew the light bulb hit. Like, no, I'm a coach. What was your first coaching opportunity?
First real coaching opportunity was in right outside of Jacksonville, Florida. So, what was it? 2008, 2009, somewhere back then. I don't know. But I coached at Baltimore High School, right outside of Jacksonville, Florida. And the funny thing about that, our starting quarterback when I was there was a sophomore. And a lot of people know his name because he threw the most interceptions in an NFL game in one game. His name is Nathan Peterman. They played for the Bills. I think he threw like 5 or 6 interceptions in the first half one game. But in high school, he was obviously pretty good if he made it to the league. But he was our starting quarterback down there. And we had some guys. We had a young team, but we had I think we had 14 to 15 guys that was on that team that year that ended up playing Division I football. And so I did that I was there for 1 year, just basically volunteer. I didn't get paid, nothing like that. But I knew I wanted to get into coaching. And so I was in Florida at that time. I just literally was just emailing almost every school in the Jacksonville area. And just seeing what opportunity was out there. Fell on that opportunity at Baltimore.
And you have some college coaching experience?
So after I finished, I did that 1 year at Baltimore. And then right after that, I got hired my first college job the very next year. So then I moved to Pennsylvania and started coaching in college then.
Okay.
Then I did 7 seasons of college before I came back to high school.
What's the difference?
The biggest difference is football all day.
Yeah.
It's football all day. The hours, you work way more hours in college.
Right.
The hours are different. Football all day. You don't have to deal with parents. You have, because most kids, you 3-4 hours away from home.
Absolutely.
And at that point in time, you're grown.
Yeah. So you think.
Mommy and daddy can come to the principal's office and I want to sit down, find out why my son ain't playing. It don't work that way at that level. His son ain't playing, he just ain't playing. And if you become too much of a headache, we'll just send him home.
Exactly.
And so it's more of a business at that level. Because my college coach said it to us a bunch of times, but you realize it when you're living it. And it's basically you saying, I'm not going to allow an 18-year-old to get me fired.
Yeah.
And that's the way you approach it at that level. It's like either y'all want to do what's supposed to be done or get gone. Yeah. I mean, you can always recruit more kids.
Absolutely.
Right. So it's different than high school where you got what you got for the most part.
Yeah.
And so that was probably the biggest difference. It's just football. You ain't teaching and doing all that other stuff. It's football all day long.
Absolutely.
All day long.
Absolutely. So then you end up at Camden. What year did you end up at Camden High?
I went to Camden in 2017. Okay. Yeah, 2017 would have been my first year at Camden. So when I left, after I was in Pennsylvania, I ended up going to North Carolina, coaching at Methodist University in North Carolina. And then I was there for, almost 3 years. And that's when I went to Camden to be the defensive coordinator. Right. After I left Methodist. And did 4 years there at Camden.
Was that your first defensive coordinating position at Camden?
Well, I was like a co-coordinator at the college level. Yeah. So, I handled a lot of the pass game stuff. Okay. Coverages and what routes and coverages that we wanted to play against their top routes. But actually calling the plays. I assisted with play calling in college, but actually being responsible for every play call, when I got to Camden, that was the first time.
And y'all obviously had some players.
Yeah, well, we ain't start out that way, and that's what I try to get across to the guys here now. It's like, everybody, they look at, especially when I came in, we had just played for the state championship at Camden, and then I got the job here. But we were there 4 years. I was there 4 years. That first year, we only won 3 games. Yeah. So we had to build it. And so I think that experience obviously try to translate a lot of what I learned on that time, trying to build that, even though it was just me really on the defensive side, trying to build the defensive side of the ball. But take that same experience now to where we are in our situation here. Absolutely. And trying to build it all the way through. Right. But it takes time. But you can definitely turn it around if the kids buy into it and do what they need to do.
Them boys are big at Camden.
Yeah,
they got size, man.
That's some big ones. They got kid. That's what I was just looking at while you were setting all this up. They got the #1 player in the state right now. Okay. It's going into the senior class is one of the defensive linemen at Camden who played for me when he was a freshman and sophomore. He's got 28 offers or something like that. Yeah. But we had some size, and they still got some size. Yeah. But we were fortunate. Yeah, we had a lot of good players.
It seems like that's the thing at Camden, because I remember my brother was, I think, sophomore, junior, one of those. And they played Camden here on a Saturday. Friday got rained out, so they played a playoff game here on Saturday. And this is when Josh Council was quarterback. Yeah. Them boys were so big. Yeah. That's their quarterback, #1.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'll never forget, they were in the game for a little bit, and they started kind of pull away because they just couldn't stop the run. They were too big. Yeah. Like, it just took a toll on them. Yeah. And I'll never forget, like, fourth quarter, you see the offensive lineman telling our defense, get ready for basketball. Like, it's over with. Like, but you can definitely see it's like, dang, like, it's not that they were so much better. It's just that size started to wear on you when it's everywhere. It ain't just up front. It ain't just with their running back. It's the running back, quarterback. Shoot, even their receivers were big. You know what I mean? So that seems like it seems to be a trend.
Yeah.
But to do the flip side, and it's a lot different now. I mean, I'm 6 years removed from high school from senior.
Mm-hmm.
In those 6 years, things have changed. Like our kids look big. Like they're so much bigger than what we were.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know what it is. These kids, all these kids are big now, but you know, the biggest thing with the guys we have right now is just what we've done in here in the weight room.
Right.
You know, really putting the emphasis on getting bigger and getting faster and getting stronger. And it's been challenging because it was all new to them. And they didn't know really what to expect, but they've adjusted to it pretty well. And they can see the changes in their body. So, we've been fortunate. We got some good size, especially on the offensive line. We got some good size guys on the offensive line. So, I mean, our quarterback's almost 6'3", so I mean, we got some size too. But it's definitely nice to have big guys, especially up front. So,
talk to me now about Midland Valley culture. Because now you when you left Camden, y'all just played for a state championship, lost to Daniel.
Yeah, lost to Daniel in the state championship.
And so now you're coming to here to Midland Valley. Obviously, first year didn't go the way you wanted it to, but that's okay. Restart, rebuild, and it's going to take time to build. But talk to me a little bit about your culture and some of the things that you're doing to try to turn it around and encouraging kids to come out and play for you.
Well, biggest thing, culture-wise, and I would say not even necessarily culture, but mentality.
Yeah.
I think that was the biggest thing when I first got here, was recognizing the mentality of the kids. And the lack of confidence, the lack of belief in themselves, just all those negative things when it comes to your mental toughness and your mental preparation.
Absolutely.
It was a lot of negative thoughts. It was a lot of, I don't want to make a mistake, and that sort of thing, instead of just playing, just going out there and just playing. And if I make a mistake, it's not good, but I'm gonna correct it and come back and do what I need to do the next time.
Absolutely.
So really, the biggest thing it was trying to just change the mindset of the kids to have the confidence that they belong, and because and that's the one thing that bothers me about here, honestly, is people in this area have looked down on Midland Valley so long that our kids believe it, or did believe it at one point in time.
Absolutely.
And they look at themselves, or did look at themselves as, oh, we shouldn't be up there with the North Augustas and all that. Whereas in my mind, who says that's the way it's got to be? And I think that one of the best things about this situation for me is not being from here. As much as that, some people may not like the way that sounds, but me not being from here, I don't have that mentality I don't succumb to that mentality.
Absolutely.
And to me is, who says Midland Valley can't be good? Just because that's what people have thought for 25, 30 years or whatever it is.
Absolutely.
I don't subscribe to that.
Right.
And so that's the biggest thing, is just changing the mindset and building the confidence in the kids. And then everything else, I think, kind of follows behind that.
I just don't understand, though, because, I mean, obviously you're in the weight room and you look around, football, lower state champion, and it ain't just my group, right? Because it is my group, because when I was in high school, but our group, we kind of show people, we can compete. We can. It's obviously, like you said, it's a mentality, right? It's things that breeds winning. Your players got to be able to do that. And it was shown to us by the group before, especially like my brother's group, like they were winning. They had the best record until we broke it. And so I'm just confused, and I'm sure you can't answer it. I'm just for the sake of conversation, but I'm confused as to where did it go sour? How did it drop off so fast from when we was literally in a state championship to now is, we can't win anything? I mean, I guess you get so used to losing, but I don't know.
I guess you got to look at that 5-year gap between when y'all left and now.
Yeah.
You got to look at that 5-year gap and see where it changed.
Yeah.
Because at some point it changed. Obviously, you've had, 2 head coaches between Coach Knight and now me.
Right.
There's been 2 other guys in here between then. So you got to look at what was done while those guys were in charge of the program.
Absolutely.
And did they slack off on the weights? Did they slack off on X, Y, and Z? I don't know.
Yeah.
But a lot of times that's normally what happens. And the other aspect of that too is, and we ran into this a little bit right as I was getting ready to leave Camden, is you have, you go from being 3-7 and working your way up to playing in year 3, playing for a semifinal and losing, and then go to the state championship final year, the next year. Well, what happens is those kids put a lot of work in to get to that point.
Right.
But the kids that came behind them never saw that.
Yeah.
They didn't know what it was like to be 3-7. They didn't know what it was like to lose in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in their mentality, a lot of them, they just thought you just play for the third round of the playoffs or semifinals or state championship.
Right.
No, there's a whole lot of work that had to get put in to get here. So a lot of them kids never see it. They just think, oh, all we do is go to semifinals and state championships. And so they don't necessarily put in the work to get there that the guys before them did. Absolutely. Because they just think, oh, this is just what we do. Whereas the guys before knew, hey, I know what it was like to be 3-7.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna make sure we never end up in that situation again. So it's like a complacency. Once you get good, the guys who come behind just expect to be good.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's something you gotta try to fight. I mean, I don't know. People do it all the time.
And in that is a great segue to how you saying, the guys that put in the work, but the ones behind them don't necessarily see it. I think what you're doing right now as far as community outreach and bringing those young guys along before they even get here so they see your face is very important. And it's a super, I'm going to let you talk about it because I've never seen anything like it before. But it's the step in, it's like a golden direction. Talk about middle school signing day. That was probably the coolest thing I've seen. Cause like I said, I haven't seen that. So that was cool. Talk about that, man. And give us details about that one.
One of the things that I found out very early on when I got here is that there was a lot of kids playing at schools around us that should have been playing for us.
Absolutely.
And so that it kind of actually it goes back to my college background in recruiting. And if anybody ever watched the 30 for 30 on Miami, right? One of the things they talked about was winning their backyard. Right? Because South Florida had all that talent. The problem was they was going and playing at other places. Once you got them all to stay, Miami became the best team in the country.
Absolutely.
And so that was just, that whole mentality from that time frame, bro. Everybody uses it now. You got to win your backyard of recruiting. If I'm the Carolina Gamecocks, I got to get the best kids in South Carolina if I want to be good.
Absolutely.
And so it was just that. It was, instead of losing to Silver Bluff by 40 points and having the running back run for 200 yards was supposed to be playing for us. You get beat by players. You don't get beat by anything else but players.
Absolutely.
And so it was just one of those things of, hey, let's build a fence around the kids that's supposed to be ours. Let's make sure they're ours and not let anybody else get in here and take our kids.
Absolutely.
And so that's really what it was about, going to the middle school games and doing all that stuff. And then the signing day was just a thing, for them to say, hey, I'm all in on being, a Midland Valley Mustang. And then once you commit to it, now let's get to work.
Absolutely. And like I said, man, that was so cool when I saw it on Instagram. I was like, hold on, wait, that's innovative. And from a middle school standpoint, because Coach Knight did a good job of coming to the middle school, showing us all the things, but a signing day, you know what I mean? Like these are what kids are looking up to, and it's definitely a different time. And so they're on Instagram, they're on Twitter, they're seeing people sign this, that, and the third. Like, hold on, let me feel special too and sign to my high school. And that was dope. Like that was super dope. Another good thing that you do, and I know I stepped away, and at some point I do plan to come back, but hiring on guys that went here but was a part of the winning. You don't see that every day. Not in every program. And I think you having open arm. And I know we play a little phone tag, but I remember you text me saying, hey, I'm Coach Chapman, I'm new head coach. Like, come have a conversation. Let's talk about possibly getting you on the coaching staff.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, I was a part of the winning, but before we started winning, I was also a part of the losing. So I'm able to reach the kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They see a face that they're familiar with, and they like, you know what? I'm actually gonna listen to what he say, because I know that he was also a part of a team that was 4-7.
You know, it was, I can't remember who the hell I heard say it, but I heard somebody say basically, don't get answers to the test from somebody that never took it. And so,
That's a gem.
And so for me, and my mindset is, if we want to win, you got to get people that know. You can't bring a whole bunch of losers in and think they're gonna be able to teach people how to win. You ain't never won nothing. You don't know how to win.
Absolutely.
And so that was, you know, a lot of it was obviously bringing in people that have won, but bringing in people who have loyalty and a want for this program to be good. Absolutely. Who are invested in this program being good.
Absolutely.
So it was a combination of all those different things, of getting faces that the kids knew, guys that have won, you know, guys that want Midland Valley to be good.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's really what was kind of the avenue I went with it. But and obviously guys that can coach.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach. And I didn't want to step away. I was some personal things come up, but I do plan to be back. Don't know when, whether even if it's just volunteer level. Like, I do plan to be back at some point. Just to throw that out there in the air. But I do plan, because obviously I told you from day one, I'm behind you, number one, and definitely see the vision and whatever you need from me, or even if it's just me to show up, just to show face. Like, I'm all with it, all in. And I want to step into this because we talked about opportunity. I told you we'll get to a gem that you gave me that I didn't think about, because I was talking about applying for I think it was a JV job, head coach job. I was like, but I don't have no experience. Like, on paper, I have no experience.
Right.
You said to me, when you go in the office and they say something about experience, opportunity leads to experience. That was, and yeah, it's common sense, but I never really heard it like that. And that was a gem. So again, I give you your flowers now. I appreciate that, because that's true.
Well, it's because I lived it. You know, I lived it for a while, man. Like, even when I was coaching in college, a lot of times, you know, people in college, you only get jobs because of who you know. You know what I mean? It ain't because of nothing else but who you know. Right. And somebody can pick up the phone and say, hey, you need to hire this person to do, you know, whatever job you're looking for. But when I got to Camden and I started interviewing for head coaching jobs, one of the things that honestly pissed me off was the jobs that would come back to me and say, oh, coach, you did a great job in the interview, but you know, we just wanted to hire somebody with head coaching experience. Yeah, that sucks. And to me, that's BS. Yeah, absolutely. Because you looked at my resume before I came in here. You knew I didn't have head coaching experience. So if one of your criteria for hiring was head coaching experience, don't waste my time. Right, don't even call me in here. So therefore, that lets me know one of your criteria for hiring wasn't head coaching experience. So now when you come back on the back end and say, I didn't hire you because of that, I hear BS. Absolutely. And so, you know, oh, you don't have experience as a head coach. Well, at some point in time, every guy that's a head coach hadn't been a head coach. So until the opportunity is presented, how do you know what somebody's going to be good at or not be good at? And so that's really where it came from. I'm just sitting there banging my head against the wall, wondering why I can't get these jobs, and they keep telling me basically the same thing. You don't have head coaching experience. Like, well, you can't get experience without having that opportunity. And so now got the opportunity, you got to take advantage of it. Absolutely. And so again, I'm gonna tell you, thank you, bro. I really appreciate that. Like, that was something that not just in the sports world, in life in general. That's something I can go teach my kids. Well, you know? Because it's ironic. I was listening to this song the other day. I can't think of the name of it on the top of my head, but it's a Wale song, and at the beginning of it is Jerry Seinfeld talking. Oh yeah. And he's talking about Wale basically asked him, like, how do you prepare for, you know, something new? And Jerry Seinfeld was basically like, you can't, because it's new. You don't know what to. Yeah, right.
I'm a Wale
right,
fan.
that's it. Right. He's like, you can't prepare for it because it's new. You don't know what to expect. You got to go into it and then work your way through it.
Absolutely.
Like, so yeah, you can have some ideas of what it's going to be like when I get there, but you never really know until you get to it. And so that for me is just, you know, you can't prepare for it, but take that opportunity when you get it and just run with it.
Yeah,
just run with it and do the best you can with it.
Absolutely. I'm a Wale fan.
Yeah,
I love Wale.
Yeah,
people talk about him so bad, and I'm like, y'all gotta stop talking about
but
Wale.
You know, DMV, you gonna hear Wale all day.
Absolutely.
So you know, they play that. Especially in DC, they love Wale.
Oh, absolutely.
You hear that stuff all day. But.
All right, so now we're gonna get ready to start closing and wrapping it up. Mm-hmm. So a couple more questions. What is your mission for here at the Valley, and what's your end goal? Ultimately, when it's said and done,
win a state championship and be the best team in Aiken.
Absolutely.
In Aiken County.
Absolutely.
I want. If ever my time ends here, I want the person that has to replace me to have big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I want when it's all said and done that people don't look at Midland Valley like the bottom of the barrel, but the top.
Because we're not.
And that at the end of the day, in all honesty, I want people to look at us the way they talk about North Augusta.
Yeah.
Because that's all I hear about is North Augusta, North Augusta, North Augusta. And I think we got just as much talent with less resources, which to me makes us better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we've showed it from time to time. I know they hang that little record that they have over us as far as head-to-head in football, and that's cool, but let's not get it twisted now. There's been some games where there's been some scares where they. I remember my senior year here at home, as I'm walking out of the stadium, people from North Augusta, students, fans, alum. Hey man, don't ever scare us like that again. We glad you leaving. It's
I think they
understand.
I think they know I think a lot of people know that we have gotten better. That's all I'll say.
They know, and would have been a robbery. They're never going to admit it, but they know.
So. That's my ultimate goal, man, is just put us at the top.
Right.
Put us at the top. Definitely at the top of Aiken County.
Absolutely.
But even bigger than that, top of area. I want us to be one of them teams that's always in the conversation.
Yeah. Always
in the conversation for, I get online, I read the stuff, and I don't care one way or other what people say about us, but I see people, talking about South Point and Greenwood, and I'm just speaking on 4A teams right now. As far as 4A goes, looking ahead into this season.
Right.
Midland Valley ain't mentioned.
Yeah.
I want to get to the point where, when those preseason conversations start happening, people like, hey man, don't forget about Midland Valley down there. They got this guy, that guy that can do this and that. So that's what I'm hoping for, man. That people start to look at us like the place to be.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Mount Rushmore, Coach Chapman's Mount Rushmore of DBs.
Now
that's
so I get 4. That's easy.
Hold on. I give you 5. I'll give you 5. This is a special Rushmore.
Well,
the Chapmore. That's what it's called.
First off, this is a no conversation. Don't everybody ever try to have a conversation with me. Greatest DB all time, Deion Sanders.
Okay, thank you.
We're gonna start there.
Thank you.
All right, so he's gonna put him over here to the left. That's just a different breed.
Absolutely.
Then from there, and this might be a little bit of a biased pick. I do know it because he played for my team. But Ed Reed, I love watching Ed Reed play. I love watching Ed Reed play.
Solid.
Just because people don't know, Ed Reed got a lot of his picks and interceptions because he was telling the quarterback what to do.
Yeah.
There's clips out here him talking about, he knew he was the Reed, so he would, if they playing one high and they running 4 verticals, every quarterback is going to try to look the safety off and then go to the other seam, right? Well, Ed Reed was a guy where he would lean to one side because he knows I'm telling you to do what? Throw the ball at him.
Yeah.
As soon as you flipped your shoulders, gone. Before you know it, I got it, and I'm running the other way.
That's skill and film work too, though.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's why I like that, the mental. Another guy that I really like around that same time frame was Brian Dawkins.
Okay, yeah. I'm an Eagle fan.
Brian Dawkins. Brian Dawkins. And see people, and I say this and people look at me funny, but I used to be an Eagles fan. And the reason I say that, people don't know, like, we didn't get the Ravens till 96 in Baltimore. So I was already 10 years old. So before that, I was an Eagles fan coming up because I like Randall Cunningham, black quarterback, running around. I'm a young kid playing quarterback. So boom, right then and there. And Philly's like an hour and a half from Baltimore. So I was an Eagles fan. Then when we finally got the Ravens, it was like, but I always had love for the Eagles. So that's why Brian Dawkins. So I'll go them 3. Then I'm gonna go.
This is where it gets tough. It was easy at first.
I know my 5th. This is the one I gotta really think about.
Okay.
Cause oh boy.
It's tough. There's some good ones out there.
Yeah, some good ones out there. I already know who my 5th is. So that's why this one's gotta be. I can't miss on this one. It's between 2 guys, really.
And you can't give them a split face. I've heard that one. Can I give a split face? No.
All right. I'm gonna go with him. I'm gonna go with Charles Woodson.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Charles Woodson.
Over who though? Who'd you go
over Revis? It was between him and Revis. And the reason I say that because Charles Woodson could play both. He could play safety and corner. So that was really that's kind of what separated him from me. And then my 5th guy is I think the best guy in the league right now, Jalen Ramsey.
Jalen Ramsey? He is. He is.
He another guy that he really could play safety today.
Yeah,
because even at Florida State, he played 3 different positions in 3 years at Florida State.
Absolutely, but you can't. I'm gonna be real, and I could be a little biased, but I looked at the man matchups, breakups throughout the year. My guy, Big Play Slay, was sitting at like number 2.
Oh yeah, I like Slay. I like him.
Yeah,
but. If we talking top 5,
he don't make the cut.
That's my guys. Because a lot of them guys not playing. The only one still playing, I think, is Jalen Ramsey. So,
yeah. True.
You know, because there's a couple of guys I like out there, but you got to pick 5. That's tough.
Yeah, that's definitely tough.
That's tough. Because I like, what's the one to play for the Jets safety? Adams. I like Jamal Adams. I like him a lot. I like Tyrann Mathieu. I always love Tyrann Mathieu, especially when he was at LSU.
Yeah, his attitude.
Yeah, man, he just a dog, man. He gonna go get it. So there's a lot of guys out there, but if I had to go, by far, all the way up here is Deion, though. Like, it ain't everything else, I'm not discussing.
It's not even
trying
close,
to tell me anybody else, we ain't having a conversation.
It's not even a conversation. I don't care what nobody say.
He was different.
Anything you want to leave us with?
Oh man, just anybody watching it in the community, man, just come out and support the kids, man. I don't come support Coach Chapman. Don't worry about me. I'm all right. Come support the kids. You know, they worked hard. They've done most of what I asked them to do. You know,
they still high school kids.
Yeah, they're still high school kids. They've done most of what I asked them to do. Obviously, you know, we got some transfers. Obviously, everybody knows about Trey. But I think we probably have maybe 14 or 15 total transfers that we've gotten. And then obviously if anybody followed the basketball team and the basketball program, Dez is playing football now.
Absolutely.
And I think a lot of people gonna be surprised by how good he is on the football field.
Yeah, Dez makes plays.
Yeah, man, he's tough. You know, that's why I tried to get him to play football, because I watched him play the first game I watched him play, I said, it's something different about that dog. It's something right here. He a dog. You can just tell he ain't gonna back down from nothing.
Absolutely.
You know, some basketball guys don't get on that football field. It was just something about watching him play basketball. I could tell he wasn't gonna be scared of no football. So you know, him and Trey, and then we just got Jabo and you know, coming back from Atlanta. And man, it's just those are just the names that people know. You know, we got a couple other guys too. It is TJ's improvement, man. Yeah. You know, that's something that has definitely, I mean, in practice on Tuesday, I was like, what am I watching? Like literally at one point, I think it was Preston Butler. He was like, damn, Coach, he out here looking like Lamar Jackson. I just kind of looked at him like, this is his confidence level has. If he plays the way he's been going, there's gonna be a lot of people saying, "What the hell? Where he come from? Where he come from?"
Absolutely.
We got depth now too, which is good, because you know last year some guys were in some positions by default. just because you couldn't replace them.
Absolutely.
But now, competition, I think, is a good thing.
Yeah.
And so competition breeds depth too.
Absolutely.
So I think we're gonna be, we're gonna have 8, 9, 10 guys we can play on the defensive line.
Okay.
We got
Yeah.
6 linebackers that can play and be solid. We've got 7, 8 DBs that can play and be solid.
Okay.
7 or 8 offensive linemen and that can be in there at all times. And
Right.
and then just with our skill positions, we got a number of different people. Got a lot to try and defend.
Absolutely.
You got to try to defend Dez and Antron, and then you got Evan, who's almost 6'5" now. He just keep growing. And then and then you throw in, when we get Trey back and Preston McNair and Joe Nathan, and I mean we got some guys, man, that can.
That's some talent
and people don't know, we got a couple, and our young kids are going to be good too. So,
Absolutely.
Kamari Murray's going to, probably be a JV kid who won the region in the 100 as an 8th grader.
Wow.
I mean, that boy, he's the fastest person on the team. He hadn't even started 9th grade.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've got something, for people to come see, man. I think it's going to be, I think we can get it back to how it was when y'all was playing and really packing this place out.
Absolutely.
There's going to be some stuff that people want to see.
Okay.
There's going to be some stuff that people want to see. For sure.
Cool, man. Well, I appreciate it, man. I'm Daniel Carr. I'm your host, Coach Chapman, head coach of the Midland Valley Mustangs, and this is Detail Athlete, and we are out.
This one for love, for mothers that's grieving. It's for that dreamer in that class that's underachieving. It's for believers whose faith is just keeping them breathing. This is a garden of Eden. This for all of my heathens. Happy moment, happy sprinkled through half of these tragedies. Actually, I just started embracing change. It's safe to say that growth is an uncomfortable process, and pain is a necessary investment for progress. I stress that if you ever get ill or hurt against your will, this will quit for God. This is our test. Yes, this time is gonna be different. I'ma bless the world with honest quotes in every sentence and get better every moment. Just like my mama mentioned, hard times but never resentment. I stay forever relentless. Yeah. I gotta grind, I can't leave them behind. They said, boy, you the ticket, I ain't talking about fines. I know I'm on the right path, I ain't looking for signs. They say the quickest way to break through is free in the mind. Man, my goal is perfection, but I may never reach it. It's every man for themselves, watch how you sharing secrets. No, I don't like parasites, I can't tolerate leeches. I get a word, my testimony, I feel like a deacon. The truth is in the fine print, you gotta pay attention. Rule number 1, never try to speak more than you listen. I know the biggest thing in life is to stay consistent. That's why I'm working on the present. I know that I'm gifted. I can't give up cause life is a challenge. I got the world on my shoulders, I'm trying to keep balance. No, I ain't never seen the world, I'm exploring my talent. My destiny is set in stone, you can say that it's mounted. I gotta get it, ain't no way around it. That's how it goes, I ain't worried about the coaches pick cause I'm already chose. And God gave me the key to every door that they done closed. I done came a long way from canned goods and pallets on the floor. Life done taught me some lessons. I don't face some rejections. I know that this is my path. No, I don't need no direction. I'm just tired of this stressing. We in need of a blessing. Sometimes I sit and look at my reflection.